Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about everything about government contracting, how you can become a government contractor, our journey of becoming a government contractor. And we will also talk about the difference between UEI number and cage code or cage number. I will also take you with me today as I prepare for one of the bidding that's due this week for a federal janitorial contract. So come with me while I complete that process. My name is Subin. I am one of the co-founders of CleanPro, a janitorial company in Minnesota, and I am the founder of LaunchPrepared, an agency that allows you to become a successful commercial contractor and a government contractor. CleanPro started bidding for government contracting back in 2024, and we have won our first government account back in 2025 after a long year of learning. Maybe another day we will talk about the state contracting, which I think is the easier one of the two. But today we will discuss about SAM.gov and federal contracting. With SAM.gov, any products or any services that the government is bidding through small businesses or through general businesses, they usually post it on SAM.gov. And for you to become a successful bidder, you will need access on SAM.gov. Many people believe that on SAM.gov, you just need to find a login, which in most cases is very inaccurate. You might have the ability for you to go and log in on SAM.gov and to go look through the information that's on SAM.gov. But for you to bid, you will need UEI number and you will need cage number. Many people also think that when you go through the application process of UEI number, and then you will be able to start bidding, which is again incorrect. You will need cage number. You want to become the prime contractor. In most cases, if you are a subcontractor that's working under a prime contractor that's holding that contract, in most cases, you are allowed to not have cage number, or you don't necessarily need a cage number. But if you want to become a prime contractor for the government, you will need your own cage number. UEI number, it's a unique entity ID, meaning that it gives your company or your business an ID number that's unique to the entity type of your company. With the cage number, which is a little bit different and a little bit harder to obtain than UEI number, the cage code or cage number, while the cage code usually establishes where your entity is located, and it also verifies you military and defense compliance by the U.S. State of Defense. Today, I will show you on the process of logging in on SAM, assuming that you have an active UEI number and an active cage code. So you will go SAM.gov, you will sign in if you have an active user. Again, our company has an active user, and here you will see if your company has an active registration on active registration. If you only have UEI number, it will show here ID assigned. And if you have an pending assignment, meaning that your company is being reviewed for you to get ID assigned, it will be on here, pending assignment. If your company is due for registration, it will go in active registration as well. You will have to renew your registration every single year. So first, I will show you the amount of opportunities that are available on the federal. If you hit contract and contract awards that were given before, and many were given last week. If you go to the state that you're in, and then we will have to go to, what did I do here? Okay. Then we will go to the product service. In our case, it will be 56172 janitorial. It will be search and active. I did something wrong. Go back. Okay, we are back here. SAM.gov is sometimes it malfunctions, it breaks on you, sometimes it hides information. You won't have to know how to use SAM.gov, but you get used to it the more that you use it. That's why I didn't freak out when my information didn't came out. Sometimes you will see a solicitation that was active 1 hour ago and it randomly disappears, and then it comes back again, then it disappears. It's interesting. I'm not complaining about SAM, but it's an interesting page to use or to navigate and to get used to. So as you can see here, there were companies that bidded for janitorial across states, and these are the amounts that they were awarded. This company was awarded yesterday actually, and they won about $380K. This company was awarded a couple days ago, and they were awarded about $275,000. Another company, $4,000, $5,000, and I'm assuming that these two companies were one-time jobs. Another company here, $89K, 7K. Another big company through in this, the contracting agency was the US Department of Homeland Security, and it is about 1 million. Another one about 500,000. Another one about 786,000. Another one about 500,000. Another one about 190,000. Another one about 3.3, which is the Department of Transportation. As you can see, this is only janitorial. If I look through other industries, there is going to be more and even more awards that the government is giving to businesses that are on SAM.gov, that has active registration on SAM.gov, that have an active UEI and CAGE code. Next up, last week we have been notified about opportunities with janitorial in the state of Minnesota. And some of them are due this week and some of them are due next week. So last couple of weeks I was kind of going through the documents, and I mostly know what I'm looking at, the numbers that I'm looking at, but I will not disclose that information. But I will show you the process that we go through for us to extract all the information that we need for us to come up with a number, and again, how to put that information all together in a bid proposal and send it to the hiring officer. Again, you can go home, search, you can go contracting, then you can go to contract opportunities, then you look for what you are looking for, which is janitorial, but I want it on the state of Minnesota here, then it will come up, right? So this one is the specific one that I am bidding for in the next couple of days. One thing that I immediately look for is if it's set aside to who. And here it will tell you who. In most cases, it will be small business set aside. And there's big companies that don't qualify for that. And under the federal clause rule, you are considered a small business for janitorial if you are making less than $22 million. So if that's the case, then you qualify for you to bid. But in some cases, you will see other things that are set aside here. You will see set aside by federal owned businesses. 8A program, if your company is registered under 8A, then you will be allowed to bid. If your company is veteran owned, it will say here, and over here it will say a veteran owned companies set aside. If that's the case and your company is owned by a veteran, then you qualify for you to bid. If not, then don't waste your time and keep it pushing and go look for other opportunities. You will see 8A set aside. That's a federal program. If your business is registered and has met the qualifications of 8A and you were given the status of 8A program, then you are allowed to bid. But if you don't have an active 8A registration, then don't waste your time, keep it pushing, go look for other opportunities. There's other program called Hub Zone. I have seen a couple that came up last year. If your company is located in those zones that they are looking for and you met the qualification and the requirements of it, then you are eligible to bid. If not, don't waste your time and keep it pushing. Then the second thing that I look for is here you will see solicitation. There's also sometimes you will see pre-solicitation. Pre-solicitation is them trying to gather information and trying to come up with a budget by putting bid on SAM.gov and allowing businesses to come up with a budget that fits the average of whatever the people bid it for, if that makes any sense. So that's typically pre-solicitation. The government is kind of looking through different bids that will come through and considering their budgeting and looking for how much to set aside or how much to budget for the specific contract. If you see solicitation, that means they need pricing right now. They already set the budget. They know what they are looking for in most cases. And they want to see if there's companies that are eligible and that they want to work with, that wants to bid for. Then also another thing that you will have to always look for is the due dates. A lot of people, they prepare, waste their time coming up with pricing, calculating pricing, going tours, and then maybe they might miss the due. The due date is one thing that they are very, very strict with. They don't give you extension like homeworks in college. So just look out for the due date. If it's due at that specific time, then put the time in and the effort in for you to submit it at that time. If you scroll down, you will see the hiring officer. You will see their email here and you will see their phone number here. This information is very important and we will come back for it and I will show you why it is very important. Then now we're going to go to my download folder here and look through what they are looking for specifically. This is the first attachment. This is basically what they want, their contract, what you are bidding for. All of that information will be written under these documents. And it is very, very important for you to review and look through these documents to your best ability, okay? This one is basically the solicitation number. And here you will see request for quotation. They are looking for price rate. Sometimes you will see request for RFP, which is request for proposal. Most cases, they should be the same. In this case, I think they are more number focused than proposal focused. But in our case, we prepare both and we send it in both. Okay. One of the other things that I really like about federal contracting is that it is multi-year in some cases. In most cases, it will be minimum 2 years, minimum 1 year. And some of them, we have seen some that were up to 4 to 5 years long. In this case, it is 4 years that you will have to come up with the pricing with. Also, there's something called FAR clauses that you will have to go study. You will have to review. Anyways, if you are applying for Cage Code, you will have to go study these FAR clauses. It's basically terms and conditions of the federal government for you to become a contractor. And for you to get an assigned Cage Code number, you will have to go agree to those terms and conditions. If you don't agree, you won't get a cage number or Cage Code. So I would say I highly recommend for you to go sit down when you're applying for your cage number for you to study the FAR clauses. In this case, they are picking and choosing specific FAR clauses that they want you to abide by under this contract. And I kind of looked through some of the things. Over here, there is a clause, prohibition on contracting with inverted domestic corporations. They also, again, emphasizing that it is a small business aside. If you are not making less than 22 million, then you don't qualify for you to apply. And this one, convict labor, meaning that you are allowed to employ someone that has a criminal background with correct supervision. Again, here they are asking you to make sure that you are fulfilling the standards of labor, that you are giving the minimum wage, in this case, $16.88 in Minnesota, that you are giving paid sick, that you are not discriminating, and that you are providing sustainable products or services. This is where green products come in. This is where eco-friendly products come in. There is another clause that in this contract that they not emphasizing for you to agree on, which is buying American Free Trade Agreements of Israel Trade Act. That's why I said it's very important for you to go study the FAR clauses before you become a government contractor. And this is again where funds will be sent. There was an interesting clause that we came across when we were applying for our Cage Code, which was to not use TikTok app. And we kind of studied it and we kind of found a way that we can make sure that we are still fulfilling the agreements or the contract that we promised to not use any ByteDance applications on any device that you are hosting any of or that you are managing any of the specific government contracts. Again, very important. I'm putting a lot of emphasis. Go read the FAR clauses before you agree to anything. And anyways, you will have to, yes, some contracts, they will pick and choose which one you want that they want you to fulfill under specific contracts. But in most cases, in any ways, for you to get a cage number, you will have to agree everything, all the terms and conditions of the federal government. With that being said, this contract, again, I read through it. It gives me specifics of what they are looking for, how they are evaluating the award type. They want you to come up with their pricing, and I will show you the pricing sheet. They want you to have past performance. There's some accounts that we have came across in the past that don't put emphasis in past performance. In some cases, they want you to have past performance, meaning that you have other jobs, commercial or government, that you have completed in the past that you will have to provide their reference to this officer or the hiring officer. This one is the description of the job, where it's located. It's located in Aurora, Minnesota. Our company, again, is based in all over the state. We hire everywhere. We first look for big commercial accounts or big government accounts. If we find anything in that area, then we double down on client outreach, commercial, private, and even government. And in this case, it will be 5 buildings. They want you to start in October 1st. They will provide all the consumables, in this case, hand soap, toilet paper, paper towels, light bulbs, garbage bags. It's a little bit unique. They also want you to install light bulbs. If you are a janitorial company, you don't necessarily have to be perfect on doing every single job. You can always subcontract. If it's a light bulb, we will always subcontract. If it's an HVAC, we will always subcontract to people that are experts in that area, other small businesses. But also you will have to know that any company that you are subcontracting with in this contract, I will be responsible and I will have to provide their information to the hiring officer. But in some cases, we know in the past that we were not required to provide who our subcontractor is. But if our subcontractor makes a mistake, our company, the prime contractor, will be responsible. And this is called task, but in our document that we are preparing, we call it scope of work. And I believe they also refer it as a scope of work. Scope of work is basically the areas, the specific areas, and the specific list that they want you to complete at each cleaning. In this list, they want you to do it twice a week. This other building, the fire station, it will be twice a week. Then again, they provided us with the square footage, which is very, very helpful. We usually take the scope of work and we take the square footage, we combine it together, and we come up with realistic pricing that fits the market of our industry. Again, they provide more square footage, they provide more details. And in this case, this account is very interesting because they want us to make sure that we use bio-based products. And it was very nice of them that they gave us where we can find those specific products that they are looking for. And we will also have to provide CDS sheet as well then when we buy those products. In some cases, you will come across and they will just tell you, make sure that you have eco-friendly products, you have green-friendly products. But in this case, they are very picky on what they want, which is good for them. Again, you will have to take this sheet, add it on your bid proposal document. And basically, it's how much do you want to charge every single year. This is the first year, and these are optional for years. We always bid for all the years. And many of you might ask, how do you know what to charge the next year? You will know because the work of scope is not going to change. The square footage is not going to change. The only thing that's going to change in this economy is the inflation rate. So we take the number that we come up with that base year and we multiply each and every single year after that, the inflation rate. And you can estimate what the inflation rate is every single year. So you will have that information on the internet. You can reach out to someone that's more aware in the market or in the economy. And you can come up with the inflation rate and you can just multiply whatever base number that you come up with to that inflation rate every single year. Then we will submit that document. This is an old one that we bidded with the U.S. Army of Engineers. First thing that we have is a welcome letter. I will not show you that. You can come up with your own welcome letter. The second emphasized page that we always show is table of content. Table of content, you will always have to make sure that you provide this to the hiring officer because first of all, those people are very picky with their time. And second, I always think of it in my perspective. If anybody brings me a big, large document, the first thing that I look for is the information that I specifically need for me to consider if I want to review those documents or not, right? So table of contents will direct me to that specific page. That's why it is very, very important for you to have table of contents in whatever field that you are in, specifically if you are trying to work with government, because they really, really appreciate if you provide table of contents. In this case, my table of contents will have cover letter, welcome letter, table of content, SF1449 letter. That one was specific to that contract. Then the pricing, then again, signed SF30 amendment, again, specific to that contract that we were bidding for. But these mostly stay the same, except the scope of work, capability statement, I updated every other month. Past performance, I updated every single month. Scope of work, again, is the information that you draw out from the contract that they provide you and you move it here. It shows first that you understand the task and the job responsibility. And second, it's very important that you have it in your own bid. Then again, these other ones, I come up with it on my own. How are we making sure that we have enough staffing, supervision, and quality control plan? How are you making sure that the job is completed to the standards of the government and the hiring officer? And then again, compliance statement. If there are specific things that they want you to, those clauses in FAR clause, then them emphasizing that they need green products, all of that goes under compliance statement, making sure that you emphasize that you agree to fulfill everything in that contract. This one again was specific to that previous contract, and I will skip that. Capability statement, it's a short statement that shows what you are capable of as a company. Then I won't show you my past performance, but I usually leave it up to 2 to 3 pages. In most cases, 2 pages. My top 7 to 9 clients that I want them to reach out to. Last but not least, a lot of people think that you will have to go use SAM.gov for you to submit the bid. But no, that's not the case. At the beginning, I said to be aware of this email and this phone number. You take the email here and the bid that you prepared, and you send it via email. Why is it important that you send it via email, not through SAM.gov? SAM.gov doesn't have the ability for you to send proposals on there or to send quotes on there. But you will have to send it via email, and you will have to make sure that you let the officer know UEI is on there and your cage number is on there. And that's why I emphasize and I said it's very, very important for you to have table of content, because when I send this proposal, for them to first look for anything, they will have to verify that I have an active cage number and UEI number. Where do they usually go? Table of contents. And where specifically? Capability statement. My capability statement directly states that I have an active UEI and I have an active cage. They will write it down, double check if it's inactive. If it is, then they will review. Other times, there's specific things that they look at for. If you signed, if you provided past performance, if that's one of their qualifications, then table of content again will direct them where to look for or where to go, which saves them a lot of time. 3 things that can happen after you send that proposal. First, you might see an officer reach back to you and ask you for more questions, further information. That's typically a good sign, meaning that they are double checking some information and they are considering your bid. The second thing that can happen is they will send you an email notification of whoever that won the bid. And the third thing that can happen is completely ghost you. All 3 options highly encourage you that you put time in for you to reach out. If they are considering your application, they need more information. Answer as soon as you can. If they tell you that they chose another company over yours, it's okay. It's life. It's not the end of the world, but still reach out and kindly ask for feedback. When you ask for feedback, it shows that you truly care about it. It shows that you are not just giant corporation that is bidding for every other job that comes up, and that you completely are invested in those specific jobs that come up. So ask for feedback. And again, those feedback, it will be very, very important for you because it allows you to go back and improve as you go. The last option, if they completely ghost you, and it can happen it happened to us many times, it's not because they intentionally do it. In most cases, they are very busy and they have a lot of things that they are going through. You just kindly, again, reach out and ask, hey, did you guys choose someone? If you did, is there a way that you can provide me a feedback? Why did you guys choose that other company over mine? You have to know that these people took their time to completely study your bid proposal. They went through maybe the first page all the way to the last page, and they went through your competitors. So what is your competitors doing that you are not doing? And they know the answer. So reach out. And the worst thing that can happen is, hey, I'm too busy, or no, I can't. And it's not the end of the world. Just keep it pushing, move on. There's other opportunities that are gonna come up. If we know one thing in Islam, your provision is written. If you don't get it today, then it wasn't your rizq, it wasn't your provision. It was someone else's provision. So keep it pushing, look for other opportunities. There's 2 groups of people that you're gonna come across when you want to do government contracting. There's that first type of people that are gonna tell you, you have to know someone for you to win an account. And there's the complete opposite that are gonna tell you, just send it in. If it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I disagree with both. And there's a middle path of it, which is you establish that connection. You reach out to people. And again, as I said, in SAM.gov, in most cases, many of them are not going to tell you, hey, come in and tour our facility for you to give us a quote. Some of them will require that. But in most cases, they will just provide you the square footage. They will provide you the scope of work. And you will have to come up with your own numbers. And some of them will even go to the level of them providing you the blueprint of their building. But they will not tell you, hey, come meet us in person. And it's okay. In those cases, what we do personally is we establish that connection through email. We reach out, we introduce ourselves. We tell them, hey, we are interested and we are this company we are bidding for. Is there anything that can make our process easier? Is there anything that we should be aware of? And in most cases, they appreciate those emails. And sometimes, if it's in-person meeting, which we actually enjoy and we love, we travel all the way. If it's 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, we drive all the way there and we meet them and we introduce ourselves and we tour the facility. By establishing those connections, we don't just stop there. We consistently reach out if you have questions. And it shows that you actually care. It shows that you are passionate about the cleaning of that specific facility or whatever service that you are providing. Many big corps, they really don't have the time for them to check in, for them to introduce themselves. And many of the big corps, actually, the bidding process, it's not them who's bidding for it. It's not the owners who are bidding for it. It's not people that are the CEO or up there for management that are bidding for it. It's either employees or third-party agencies that they hire. But when you establish that connection, when you are making sure that you are following up, when you are asking questions, when you introduce yourself, when you go in person, it shows that you are involved. And the people that completely just sit down on their computer and type up all that documents and they felt confident enough because they have enough past performance and send it in, sometimes they don't get accepted because they didn't establish that connection. So there's a middle path. That middle path is, don't completely say, oh, I have to know someone in the government for me to win bids, or the person that would just, like, I will bid until it lands. Don't be either, but be in the middle. Reach out to people. You already have their contact. Establish that connection. Ask them questions. Show up in person. Introduce yourself. Introduce your company. And share more information about your company and how you are involved. Or that will give you a higher chance of winning a government account. In next video, I might talk about state contracting, which is, in my perspective, I think it's a little bit easier than federal because the process is less and short and sweet. If you guys want me to talk about it, leave comments down below. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please leave like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, you guys can send me a DM on TikTok, Instagram, or LinkedIn. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.